acolo este, va fi corner, dragi ascultători.
Welcome back to Verde Broadcasting, everyone. I'm Duncan Casey, of course, and you join us here in the cosy confines of El Presidente's living room in the high castle of communistic whatever. Today, we've got a special guest with us, and I will introduce her shortly. But we are covering a perhaps unusual film for this channel, a film that you know probably would be, what's the word, not expected of us, but today we're doing Dirty Dancing, and I'm joined with Gabriella Lester.
Hello.
Say hello.
Hi.
Actress, star of screen and stage and Diet Coke.
Yes.
Idents.
Yeah.
Yes. So there we are. We're fellow actors, and we kind of wanted to get a female perspective on certain things on the channel, which is great, and wanted to cover your favourite film, I believe, anyway.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
Favorite film. So I watched it last night. I have seen it before, but under duress from an ex-girlfriend. Really enjoyed it. Loved watching it again last night. But what's your kind of history with it? How did you come to it?
It has been my favourite film since I can remember.
Right.
It's got sentimental kind of value to me because I remember watching it at the age of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, literally throughout my whole childhood and my life. So that's probably why it is my favourite film, because I have so many memories of watching it throughout my life.
It's a sort of touchstone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, I just love it. It can do no wrong in my eyes. Baby, Johnny, they are real to me. So everything from the music to the dancing to the actual emotion that's in it, I love. It's
definitely one of those films, I think, that's there's a lot to unpack, and there's also I think it is one of those films you can watch as a kid, as a teenager, and as an adult, and find so many different things in it. You know, like there's obviously sort of the holiday romance side of stuff. There's kind of the coming of age thing, and then there's the kind of relationship with parents type deal. It's all in there, and it's a really dense, sort of story. And I think it's great, and it's full of. There's so much allegory in there that I was kind of picking out last night, and I wrote a load of notes that are really incomprehensible. but it's I just think I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. But so did you? What? So you were what, like 4 or 5?
Yeah, literally. Yeah, 4, 5, 6. I've literally watched it probably every single year growing up. So it is for me one of those films that you can watch again and again and again, and I will never get bored of it. Yeah. I'll never tire of it.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I definitely, I want to. I can see myself picking it up every now and again and playing it. But when you were, I'm trying to think now. What's the? Well, so okay, let's look at the historical context of it. So in came out 87.
87.
Which was way later than I thought it was, because obviously it's set in this. It's what
63.
Yeah. So because it sets up that historical context at the start, doesn't it? She says before
the summer of 63. Yeah.
Before Kennedy was shot. Which is cool. And do you think it's interesting, because that's obviously very deliberate to say it's part of a, and they say it's pre-Kennedy being shot, which sets it up as this this innocence lost story, because I think that was true for the nation at the time. For America, it was like that. Although they didn't realize it, that like Kennedy being assassinated was quite an innocence lost thing, if you like, for the nation. So it's that's quite a nice thing to start from. It sort of sets you up as like this was a summer of innocence before we knew, like evil and everything, which is really cool. So obviously Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey. Jennifer Grey's gone on to do a lot of stuff, hasn't she? But I don't know.
Yeah, I think obviously that's what she's most known for, though. I think that everything since Dirty Dancing is kind of.
Didn't she have plastic surgery?
I don't think she looks like Jennifer Grey anymore. She doesn't look like Baby.
Yeah, it's really odd that. Yeah. It's really odd. So in terms of like the subtext and the allegory then, because obviously dancing is often used as a metaphor for sex, tango especially, but also, there's all sorts of, it's that interaction. Here, I see, you know, it's used quite. There's loads of different. Obviously, the name is Dirty Dancing, but there's the fact that like there's the dancing that's put on for show for the club goers. We should, I suppose, contextualise what the story's about, which is about Baby and her family going to what's it, Club
Kellerman's.
What's the deal there? Because that's one thing I missed was like the fact that he's a doctor, he's an MD, her father.
Yeah.
And he's been given tickets to go or something for free or something?
No, well, he treated the guy who owns Kellerman's, so it was like a thank you to him, come and have a holiday here with your family and have the best time. Like, you're the reason that I'm still here, I believe. That's what he says. Right. And come and enjoy, you know, a restful 2 weeks.
And it's a proper, like, American summer camp type.
Yeah.
And even there's a subplot in there about how it's kind of these are going away already. Like, I can't remember what he says. Like, oh, it's all going downhill because it's that proper sort of family camp where everyone kind of goes. And like, her sister is obviously the prototypical kind of like, what is the hula thing she does? She's like, hula hula.
Yeah, exactly. I think that she actually wrote the lyrics to that. I think
really?
She's only credited like literally in the past 10 years, I think. Okay. So relatively recently. Yeah. That they were her lyrics.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, because I just assumed it was some sort of.
Yeah, it was kind of made up on the day, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, and she does what is a really hard thing to do if you're an actor, which is sing badly. Yeah. Singing on purpose out of key is really, really hard to do, but she does a really good job of it. Or maybe she just couldn't sing. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think the performances all round are amazing. Yeah, I think. So in terms of the sort of allegory then, because obviously you've got a character called Baby, that's pretty on the nose. That's her nickname, obviously. And then she doesn't she even say in the opening monologue that was something she lost later, like people stopped calling her that after that.
When they still called me Baby.
That's right. Yeah. So it's again much about like losing your innocence and all that kind of thing, and there's metaphorical sex and there's literal sex in the film, which you said got cut out recently.
Yeah, apparently so. In the 20th edition, so it was 2007, I believe, they cut the famous scene of when Baby goes to Johnny's kind of little log cabin place, and there's that lovely dance scene that then obviously goes to, you know, a lovemaking scene. That was apparently cut on the 20th edition. So
really weird.
Yeah.
It's not gratuitous.
No, not at all, and it's really prominent. I think it's a lovely scene between the two of them, and just they kind of open up to each other. And she really does say how she feels. She said, "I'm scared of never walking out of this place and feeling the same way that I've felt with you." And he kind of is in awe of her and her relationship with her father and having somebody so, you know, kind of. The fact is, before that scene, it was her father refused to shake his hand. Yeah.
Because he thought he knocked up.
Yeah, Penny. Yeah.
That's another interesting one with names and stuff, because obviously Baby helps Penny get an abortion. Yeah. Penny sort of sounds cheap. Yeah. You know, she's just sort of, but she isn't. I forget the actress' name who plays Penny, but she's
Cynthia.
She's incredible.
Yeah,
like,
she's wonderful.
As
a dancer, absolutely, whoa. She's incredible.
Amazing. But yeah, that's.
And that was another thing. Sorry, just to interrupt you about the dancing. I believe Kenny Ortega, I think he was the choreographer who then went on to direct High School Musical.
Oh right.
And the High School Musical, the three of them. But they wanted proper dancers, not just actors that could do a few steps. They wanted dancers, so it was real and authentic. And you can so tell that, you know, when you watch the dance scenes, they're dancers, you know. Yeah,
very much so.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so more imagery. This is what was coming at me last night. It was just all this imagery. It's things like Johnny's cousin, who's this sort of, he's a bit awkward. Yeah. It's again these sort of representations of men in. It's very much, I wouldn't say very much, but it's a sort of soft female POV in terms of like the men are, and this isn't a bad thing. It's not a criticism. It's really, I think it's quite good. Is that the men are sort of shown in hierarchy of competence. So you've kind of got the younger teenage. Like there's the Kellerman's
Neil,
who's just like, I own 2 hotels and that's what's important. You know, and he doesn't, you know, and he's just trying it on with it. And then, you've got Johnny's cousin who can't handle his melons, which I think is hilarious. Like he's trying to hold 2 watermelons, he keeps dropping them, and it's like, that's obviously clear allegory. And he takes her to what would be like an orgy, effectively, which is where that like.
Well, it was the naughty dancing, that's what it was supposed to.
Where everyone's just dancing.
The
together.
Underground, like you're not supposed to know about this place, but come, and I'll show you.
Yeah, which is really cool. There's the sort of that's what a lot of it's about is awakenings, and obviously Johnny is hyper competent in terms of his dancing and showing her how to, and awakens in her her adulthood essentially. What else? You've also got what did I write down really badly? Oh yeah, there's she's even baptized effectively because they practice in the water, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's sort of womb-like, and they're practicing the lift, so that's sort of Lion King-esque, being lifted out of the water. Lifting. What did I write? Lift equals impregnation. I think I was getting a bit carried away there. There's a bit of I couldn't work out if this is allegorical or not, but obviously she's at the start she takes part in the magic thing and she's like cut in half.
Yeah.
So baby's cut in half and given a hen. Is a hen representative of sort of motherhood? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. And then there's an Oedipus joke right afterwards by the guy who's like, I took my girlfriend
dressed
home.
Like her, acted like her.
Yeah,
turns out my father didn't like her.
Yeah, exactly. That guy. So it's sort of I don't know what they're trying to say with that, but I watched that and I was like, that must mean something. Yeah. But I couldn't work it out. But anyway, and then there was a little bit where I thought Johnny, because it's 87, it dawned on me, like there's that bit where Johnny goes to confront her dad later on in the porch and he's got a screen door. Yeah. And he goes up to him and he looks exactly like the Terminator. And there's that scene in the Terminator where he's like Sarah Connor and like busted up. That was really oddly stood out to me. I was like, why did they do that? It's a weird imagery to go with, but then I don't know, maybe it's to do with the sex and death and birth, I don't know. But anyway, that was kind of my ridiculous reading of subtext and stuff in there. But so 87, do you think the kind of prototypical it's not a comedy, it has
it's been labelled chick flick, hasn't it? The ultimate girls' night in movie. But I'm a girl, but I also like action films, so it's not like I'm just one-dimensional when it comes to what movies I like to watch. I just think it is a fabulous movie, an all-rounder.
No, I agree. I just wonder if it, like you said, it spawned the High School Musical, like Step Up, that kind of the sort of romantic dance thing, I guess.
But I feel like nothing will ever have a patch on Dirty Dancing, no matter what. If you name those films, they're not going to be around in 20 years, 30 years time.
Well, they're reverential of that. It's not. They're not really, because I sort of see it as kind of the apex of like, because there was stuff before it, like even things like Some Like It Hot, and even things like that had elements of the kind of romantic dance.
Yeah. Sexy kind of,
and I guess it must have been prevalent in sort of like the silent cinema and everything, where stuff had to be shown rather than sort of talked about. So I'm sure it's not the first, but it does. I think you're right. I think it just is that apex of like, this is as good as it got, really. And then after that, everything else was just kind of.
I feel like it is a classic to me, and I feel like in 10 years' time, when I'm lucky enough to have children, I feel like I will be letting them watch this movie.
Yeah. I think for me, the film that I had that experience with as a kid was probably Superman.
Right.
Growing up, and it is one I still come back to, and I still think has things to unpack as an adult. And I've talked about that on this channel. No, I've talked about it on the internet before. But it is interesting, like looking at these kind of things, and then wondering about like how. Like nostalgia, obviously, at the moment is very prevalent in things. It doesn't. It feels like they're not making movies like this anymore. And I wonder if the kind of what are they, Generation Y or whatever, after post millennial generation, are going to really have anything to look back on it. Because I look at my cousins. My youngest cousin now he's 17, but he still loves like all the 80s stuff. Yeah. He's quite a learned guy, but he loves like. All the the aliens and all those sort of action movies, and I just don't think I don't know. But so just with something like this, do you think can they make this again? Do you think it's just something that just can't be replicated? I suppose at the time it was looking back 20 years. if you were going to make it nowadays, would you set it in the 60s or would you set it 20 years ago in the 90s? It wouldn't have the same resonance.
Yeah,
obviously.
no, not at all. I feel like, it can't be replicated. This is a one. Like, they even tried with Dirty Dancing 2, what was it, Havana Nights or something. Like, when nothing will compare to Dirty Dancing.
Well, because I think it's just because it's so layered, and it's not about, it's just like Jaws isn't about a shark.
Yeah.
You know, or that it's about the kind of what it means to be human, and what it means to be a daughter and a father, and, and all that stuff.
And the relationship between a father and a daughter, and defying, in a sense, as you start to grow up, you feel like you've got to rebel in some sort of strange way. And she was doing that. This good girl that was into charities and peace marches, and she was doing something that she wasn't supposed to, and she was upsetting the one person that she probably respected and loved most, which is her father. Right. But I do believe, don't quote me on this, but I think it was loosely based around the screenwriter Eleanor Bergstein's kind of childhood. Okay. She was from a really prominent Jewish family, I believe, and she went to like camps like Kellerman's with her family, and she was the young daughter, and they were doing these dance classes that were a bit too old for her, and that was what Dirty Dancing, she based that on. Whether there was a romance involved or not, I'm not too sure, but the whole going on holiday with your family at 16, 17.
Because it is, now that I think about it, that sort of the point of view of the film is very much of the sort of youth, like, not that adults are ignorant, but that adults aren't, that they've lost awareness in a way. It's like there's that beautiful scene with her dad where he's sat by the lake or whatever, and they have that kind of reconciliation. And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, because she feels like she's disappointed him.
Yeah, but then she's also the teenagers in it are uncharacteristically wise. Like, she's sort of very articulate.
Absolutely,
and absolutely gets to the nub of what's going on, which is great. But it's that thing, and then also it's like the old couple that are the thieves.
Yeah, I know.
Like they're the sort of like the ultimate representation of
the Schumachers.
Yeah. Which is funny, but it's interesting that's how it was written, because it does feel like that. It does feel like it's written from someone who had those experiences, and there's that sort of eye rolling, stereotypical kind of the sort of odd soullessness of those kind of those. It's not that I've been on them necessarily, but I've been to similar things. I guess it's like kind of like Butlins would be here or something like that in a way. Yeah. Like they all put on a show at the end of it and everything, but it just feels quite like dull and
cheesy.
Well. Yeah. And just kind
this doesn't come across like the final scene is just
iconic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to the point when they're even doing now like wedding dances, aren't they? They're learning the dance routine for "I've Had the Time of My Life" and using it as their first song. Right.
That doesn't surprise me.
Which is,
because everyone wants to be. I mean, whether we want to admit it or not, fellas. Yeah. Everyone kind of wants to be Johnny Castle because it's just a cool name for a start. Yeah. But also, like, he's super uber sexy and cool.
Dreamy.
And just, never really puts a foot wrong. And again, that's a sort of idealized view of what the ultimate alpha male is, but then that's kind of he's still vulnerable, and he still has that kind of side to him that's really great, but he's just that last dance scene, I love that, because it almost goes borderline musical when they start, when he runs down the aisle, turns around and comes back, and they all somehow know the moves, even though I mean, maybe it is a pre-rehearsed song that they've all done before, but it's just it's cool. It's really nice.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and it is sort of wedding-like in a way, because you've got that aisle and they meet in the middle, and it's kind of it's.
But the amount, even on YouTube, like the amount of scenes that you see from weddings that have tried to replicate the Dirty Dancing, that final scene.
I bet, yeah.
It's just.
Well, they even did it for the. What is it? Is it Money Supermarket, where they've got like He-Man and Skeletor, and they do that?
Oh, really? I don't know.
Yeah. Not unless you put me in that advert, then that's fine. Thumbs up. Money Supermarket, not a sponsor. But
this is not an ad.
Yeah. But it is iconic. I mean, like if you just look at the back of the thing, you've got the lift and the even the font that they've used for the. Yeah. It's just evocative and everything. What do you think? I mean, do you think I think it will, but do you think it will live on and keep.
Oh my God,
it's got to,
absolutely,
hasn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
like I said, when I'm lucky enough to have children, they will be watching this film.
Yeah.
And I hope that it will carry on. From
What is it though that do you think makes it stand out from the likes of Step Up and because obviously I know it's like they're kind of copies in a way, which is perhaps why it doesn't. But do you think that what is it that time's going to forget those and?
I just feel like it's authentic. It feels real. It doesn't feel staged. It doesn't feel like, and I think that was the whole point. Who was the director? Emilio, I can't remember. Emilio Ardolino or something like that. He apparently kept rolling even when they were just kind of not supposed to be filming, and he kept a lot of the original scenes because he wanted it to be authentic and he wanted it to be real. For example, the scene where they're practicing the dance routine and Baby's got her arm up and Johnny's doing the whole... That's real.
Yeah.
He was annoyed at Jennifer Grey. Patrick Swayze was annoyed at her because they kept having to do that scene, and so they kept it in the film because it looked so real.
It certainly does.
And it is.
Emil Ardolino.
Yeah, Ardolino, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, there is that thing, isn't there, that it's taught now, I think, for directors to count to 5 or whatever, then cut, and then for the DP to count to 5 and cut, so that there's that, because you never know, that little thing could be where
they make it, don't they? I mean, see, you know.
I think it was it a single man, famous, well not famously, but sort of, there's a scene where he's on the phone. Is it a single man where he finds out someone's dead and he's on the phone and Tom Ford, who was directing it, just left it. And apparently, like, Colin Firth was like, because it was supposed to end like as soon as you put the phone down or whatever, and it just carried on and he just left it, and eventually he just started crying. Like, and it was just like,
it's real.
That is what the performance is. That's
absolutely.
That's
what people want to see.
Yeah, you know. And so, but it's not something you can necessarily script, and if you do, it may ring false and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, that's the beauty for me of film, is that sort of thing where you do capture that. Like that, then I mean, it's sad that they were annoyed at each other. You said they didn't get on.
Yeah, apparently so.
Right.
I think that Patrick Swayze just was probably a bit more mature than Jennifer Grey, and she was seeing it as a bit of a laugh at the same time. And obviously, he was taking it very, very seriously. And at that time, I don't think that they thought that it was going to be the iconic film that it is. And I think that they were saying, oh, the box office is going to go down, write this one off. Really? You're never going to be known for it. It's going to go in a back cupboard somewhere. And yeah, it was completely written off. And I think investors obviously wanted to pull their money out and because they just thought it was going to flop. Little did they know.
That's really weird, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it was successful at the box office, was it?
I believe so, yeah. I think, I think it was very successful. And then obviously, even to this,
in hindsight, obviously.
As the years go on, but yeah.
Yeah, because I think I think they imagined it to be a sort of niche film, I think, in a lot of ways, because
people were flocking to the cinema to see it.
I think that's the mistake, though, isn't it? When they sort of go like, well, the catch, if you like, is that it's about dancing and dance culture and stuff like that. And it's like, but it isn't. It's not a film about that.
No, there's so much more to it.
That's the backdrop, but it's a character-driven piece, and I think those are the ones that really stand the test of time. Generally, I mean, look, high concept stuff does, but then I think generally speaking, you can point to the successes in them are usually come about because there's that kernel of human truth in them, and that's what film should be about, really, is that chance to explore. Because like most films, with the exception of a few arty-farty like realistic ones, it's like I think most films there's that element of like all the characters say everything that you'd want to say in the moment, but in real life you don't, because you think of it after the fact and stuff like that, and it's like. So they are heightened reality, but they're about examining the human condition in that light, and I think this does that like amazingly well. And it's a shame that like stuff afterwards hasn't really kind of captured that same thing. But okay. What else to talk about? Well, the context. So it came out in '87.
Yeah.
The year of RoboCop.
Yes.
And and Aliens, or is that '86?
Ignore the man behind the curtain.
The Wizard of Oz over there. Was it? Yeah, I can't remember if Aliens was that year, but I mean, it came out in a certainly in a time, in a period of 4 or 5 years where there was a lot of real strong creative stuff coming out. And what's funny, like for me, like whenever I think back about it, I always assumed, because it's set in 63, I'd always had it in my head that it was a much older film than that. But then obviously logically it couldn't be, because Patrick Swayze would have been about 10 at the time, but or even younger. But yeah, it's funny kind of thinking back about it now and the context. I would like for it not to be thought of as just a chick flick.
No.
Because I do think that sort of, you know, underplays it a bit.
I think it's being that guy, or you don't want to admit that you have watched Dirty Dancing, or you enjoyed it, you actually enjoyed it. But it's not. It's so much more than just a chick flick.
If you like Roadhouse, what's different about, you know what I mean? It's just Patrick Swayze being cool, except he's dancing instead of punching people. It's like, you know, if that's what you want to find with it. But I just think it's, it doesn't beat you over the head either. Like, it's not like, you know, all men are stupid, or, you know, it's not, it doesn't have an agenda like that. It's just a really...
It feels deeper as well. Like he's doing something that he loves, because there's obviously a scene in it where he just wants approval from Baby's father, because she's trying to hide the fact that she's with him. And, you know, he wants to carry on dancing because that's his dream. And I think he makes a reference to his uncle tried to get him in a painter and decorator job or something.
Wasn't it his dad?
Or somebody, I think it was
yeah.
You know, and he's saying, you're not fighting for us, you know. I just think it's a lot deeper than what you kind of, the Dirty Dancing title that you think. Like you say,
no, I agree. I think it does. I think it has that.
It's more than that.
Because that sort of spoke to me as an actor as well. When it's that
absolutely,
thing of like, you know, where it's like these people who just want to, they think they're doing you a favour, but here's a way to make money, get on it. Because it wasn't just a job as a painter decorator, was it? It was some sort of like course, of like, or whatever it was, or on the guild of, and it's kind of like, well, you don't know me, and that's another through line about it, is because Baby even says, isn't it, you don't know, or he says to Baby, I don't know you, her dad. And there is that thing about knowing people and really knowing them, and perhaps through dance, you know, getting to the nub of people. So it's I really had a great time watching it last night, and thank you for bringing it up, because it was
thank you.
It was a real pleasure to watch, and you should all watch it.
Watch Dirty Dancing.
Definitely watch Dirty Dancing.
It's a classic.
It isn't on Netflix or Prime, unfortunately, or it might be in the States, I don't know, but definitely get out there and watch it. Thanks, Gabri.
Thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure. And there'll be links to Gabri's social media down here somewhere in the bowels of the description. If you'd like to give us a thumbs up, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, head over to Patreon, links below, and we'll see you again next time. Goodbye.
Support your 7th or 8th favourite YouTube channel by buying crap, tat, junk, hogwash and filth at redbubble.com/people/ValVerde shop.